Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Abe with MysticGenmara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your monthly energy reading for September for the elemental energy of air. Air covers the zodiac signs, that little air over here, of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. If you've never had your charts read, there is a link in the description to a natal chart through Llewellyn. It's not a sponsored link or anything like that. It's just a really nice tool I've stuck down there so you can easily find one if you're looking for one. The other links are affiliate links, so they do support the channel when you click through those. Other than that, let's get started with your reading. I cast the hexagram before the video started, and air, you have at least some relief coming in this month. And it's the hexagram 11 called Peace. And the text is, Peace, the mean decline, or the average decline, the great and good approach, good fortune and success. So you're really setting yourself up for some success. It doesn't mean that everything's going to go smooth, because the average decline meaning there's something that has to be removed, but you're heading in the right direction. So our foundational line, when the grass is uprooted, what is attached to it is pulled up as well. It is an auspicious time for advancing according to your plan. So things that may have to be removed. You may have some things that just don't fit your life anymore, and that's fine to let them go. Understand, when you let some of the stuff go, it might take other things with it. Let it all just go. There's no point in keeping it, because it may be a seed to later chaos down the road. So if it's removed now, it's easier. And so you want to be okay with that. The other part is, it is auspicious to for advancing according to plan. If you have a dream, a goal, ambition, something that you've been working on for a while, this is the time to follow your next steps. If you've written out a big old long list of stuff, which air tends to do, that's fine. Just go with your next steps. Stick to your plan, unless something intuitively guides you to a slightly different one, and that's fine. But you want to follow that plan as close as possible this month. Your second place line, supporting the uncultivated, crossing the river without boats, not retreating despite the distance from base, and not abandoning his comrades. He still manages to steer a middle course. The middle course is the path of balance, the path of understanding, which is also a path of knowledge. And you're supporting the uncultivated. So people who are just beginning, you're still helping them out. You're not going to tell them no. And you're crossing the river without boats. You're achieving things in ways that other people would have never considered, which is good, but also can lead to some interesting looks from other people. Not retreating despite the distance from base. In other words, you're moving outside your comfort zone. You're not worried about going beyond where you've been, because that's kind of the point of your goal. And you're not abandoning your comrades. So the people who've been supporting you, they might be stumbling and you're still helping them. So in reality, you're heading this knowledgeable course, but you're not giving up on doing the things that you need to do as well, or that you feel you're led to do. Our third place line, every plane is followed by a slope. Every going forth is followed by a return. Persistence under difficulty will not lead to error. Do not lose faith, for the eclipse is sometimes a blessing. Last month was definitely an eclipse month. There was like shadow work and all this struggle and things that were just like, don't move too fast, stay slow. And for August, that's fine. But September air, you're starting to pick up the pace again. And every plane, so every flat spot, every plateau, you're going to start either going up or down again. Depends on the situation and what you need as a soul. And then it's every going forth is followed by a return. So sometimes you have to wander through the forest and then have to backtrack to figure out where you went wrong. That happens. That's not a bad thing. No error involved. Persistence under difficulty will not lead to error. So even though last month may not have been the most pleasant, you're still pushed forward. You still did the work. And that's what's saying you've done all the right things, and this is why there's no error. You're still going. Do not lose faith, for the eclipse is sometimes a blessing. Sometimes you have to go through the dark points to be able to appreciate the light even more. That's why it's saying, even if you're in those dark points still, and you're moving out of them, just keep moving. Things are going to get better. You just might have to deal with some stuff before you get there, but it's going to be all right. Our fourth place line, running to and fro, kept from riches by those around him, he does not cease to put his trust in them. So even the people who are kind of not being on your side here, they're not supporting you, they might be even a little bit nitpicky or condescending, you're not giving up on them. You may not be listening to them anymore because they're just being little toads, but you're still continuing forward. You're not just going to be like, oh, well, cut them out of my life completely because they said something rude. Or you can just be like, I'm going to prove you wrong, but I'm not going to give up on you're supporting you either. So you're doing all the right stuff, and that's where your multitasking skills are going to come into play. Our 5th place line: by giving his daughter in marriage, the emperor attained felicity and extreme good fortune. So someone that you look up to, a leader of some form, either in your industry or just in your life, which would be the emperor energy, even they have offered things in a sacrifice by giving up his daughter to marriage. In other words, he sacrificed his relationship for her. Not permanently, but it's definitely going to change the dynamic, so to think. And even then, you attain felicity and extreme good fortune. So that person is showing there's times you have to deal with things you don't want to do. But in the long run, it's still going to work out. So it's okay if you have to give something up temporarily, because in the end, you're still going to be able to move forward. Your capstone here: the wall has tumbled into the moat. Do not put up a fight. Maintain order in the village. Although this is the right course, blame cannot be avoided. Just like those people earlier in the I-ching that were kind of getting nitpicky and, mouthy, because you're not doing it the way they want. That's fine. The walls fall into the moat. Okay, so that's just one more thing you have to deal with. It doesn't mean it's over, doesn't mean it's an end, it just means that's what it is. But because it fell down, now you have to try to get the village in order. So you have to try to play balancing games with all the people that you're dealing with. Blame is just going to be part of it. You're going to get blamed for something, that's just unfortunately life. But it doesn't mean it's real. Just because someone accuses you or makes the statement, well, it's your fault. Is it, or is it that person's opinion because they're having the moment? You don't have to always abide everything that they say. So with that, let's hop into our into our cards. There are about 5 weeks in September, so we'll do 5 different sets. Each week we'll look at a guide or guardian, a message from source, and then a little more clarification from the tarot. And get started with, you are starting off your week with the energies of ask and receive. Air, this is really about being okay to ask for help when necessary, but then also letting yourself have the help when it shows up. Because Air, you like to do things on your own. You're very independent-minded. You're all about organization. Therefore, you should be able to do these things. But even if you can't, or you're just not sure, it's okay to ask. The energy coming in here is saying, definitely look around and see what's going on. If you're not sure of something, ask for assistance. And then be willing to receive said assistance. 2 sides to the same coin on that one. And these angels are coming in to be very supportive of you, but also giving you the tap on the shoulder that you don't have to do this by yourself. Sometimes you just have to reach out and see how things play out for you. Your message from source is confrontation, picking your battles wisely. This one sounds like it's a negative one, but reality source is saying there will be times when you have to step up. Just like the I-ching talks about, you're going to have things you have to do. But you don't have to fight every battle. Sometimes it's a battle of like, no thanks, you can deal with that over there. And that's the energy that's coming in, is knowing when to step up, when you need to go toe to toe, or when you're just like, this is not worth my time. Go figure yourself out and come talk to me when you've cooled off. But that's where you get to be the one that decides this. It's not someone else making these decisions. The ball's in your court, and if you don't like the ball, you can put it down and say, no thank you. Your message from the tarot is the 2 of swords. Swords is air, so this is your energy. There's almost a celebratory frivolity coming forth in this card. It's this energy of almost enjoying the illusion, and this is kind of one of those, you don't have to stress over everything. Sometimes you just have to let it go. Sometimes you have to find the right people to hang out with so that you can laugh at the chaos. You can laugh at the frustration. So it's not a focus of your attention any longer. It becomes more of a, look what I'm dealing with, isn't this fun? So it's not as much of a stressor for you. If you happen to see something different with the cards, though, I read intuitively. So if you see something different, please leave it down in the comments. You never know. It might help somebody else, and I personally just enjoy hearing what other people see in the cards. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button, like, and all that fun internet stuff. Your second week's guide or guardian is the Angels of Composure. With the Angels of Composure, this is keeping yourself balanced in the face of challenges. You're following the middle path, you're avoiding conflict when it's too aggressive, you're learning how to move through life in the most balanced and stable way. These angels are going in to show you that you're, first of all, Air, you're doing the right thing. But second of all, you're also being offered the gift of seeing all three paths, light, dark, middle. That way you can choose the middle path, which is the path of balance, the path of composure. So when things are slung at you, you can still function. Just one second. These toasty days are drying me out. So let's hop into our message from Source. But the energy of composure is really just saying, you know what's the right thing and don't let someone else try to rattle you. Your message from Source are memories. Cherish the memories of loved ones. The second week, you may also have some dreams that are being brought forward with people from your past. It could be people that have passed over, or it could be just people you haven't spoken to in 20 years. There's the energy of the past coming forward. And this is a way for you to find comfort in what's going on. Because it might be that you guys, battled a storm at some point, you survived it, and so you're proving to yourself, yes, I can do this. But it also could be just the fact of the memories of sitting around grandma's table after baking cookies. It could be that enjoyment of playing with your toy after Christmas chaos is over. It could be that simple sitting on the back porch with your partner or with a family member or a friend, having, coffee, tea, your beverage of choice, and just enjoying each other's presence. Those memories are there to support us and to give us strength and remind us of the happier times. Your message from the tarot is number 12, the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is technically Pisces, which is a water energy, but with this energy, it's saying it's okay to look at things from a different perspective. It's actually recommended. And when you regain your composure, when you regain your balance, it's easier to be able to see multiple different ways of awareness. And what's interesting is the Hanged Man is surrounded by swords. So this is air energy anyway. But you've got this energy coming in saying it's okay to look at things from a different perspective. And when you do observe in those different ways, it allows you to change how you respond to situations. Yes, you are following your divine plan. You've got things moving in the right direction. There may be some challenges, but if you look at things critically and with balance and composure, you can strip away those illusions. So when you see it from a different perspective, sometimes it's just a clearer perspective. So don't give up on the journey just because there's a little fog or a little bit of chaos going on. Your message from, or your third week's guide or guardian is the Mother, Father, God. This is how we see the divine, masculine, feminine, and the source of all creation. And this energy, these angels that come in, you could see them as seraphim, which are the highest order. They literally surround the throne of heaven, constantly singing and praising. This is the energy that's coming in here. This is the energy that is being drawn to you, is these highest form of angels are saying, even through the darkest times, praise and thank and show gratitude to the source of all creation, the Mother, the Father, and the source of all, the God. This is what we're doing. We're here to grow and expand, but it makes it a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more understanding for us when we are in that state of gratitude and thanksgiving during these times. It doesn't mean you have to be like, thank you for the suffering, jerk. It's more like, you know what, there's probably something here I need to learn. I appreciate the lesson. Help guide me through this. And it's things like that that actually can flip some switches for you and really start opening some doors. Your message from Source is the Dolphin. Don't worry, be happy. Again, with the water energy, if you have a water friend or family member, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, this would be a good thing to just kind of have them hanging around this month. So the Dolphin is calling you to, even though things are going, you're doing your business, you're doing your work, you're preparing, you're dealing with whatever drama's going on there, don't forget to have some fun too. All work and no play makes Air a very dull person. But what you're wanting to do is find that balance again. Just like with the composure, with several other the cards here, it's that, yes, you know when you need to work, but you also know that you need a break, you need rest, you need to recover, you need those times where it's okay to laugh. It's okay to have fun. Your success is not tied to how serious and how stoic you are. Your success is finding your balance. And if you can find the balance through joy, giggly, goofy on one side, hardworking, practical, and focused on the other, but you take the time to have fun, you bring everything back into alignment, and then your success is pretty much showing up that day because you know that you can handle this. You know that there's going to be parts where you have to work, there's parts where you can play, and it's okay for that to happen. Your message from the tarot is the Two of Chalices. This is a relationship card. It's a loving relationship. This could be a romantic relationship going deeper. It could be a friendship that becomes something more. It could be, if you're single, that you find the person that you're meant to be with. But this is that connection. It's having fun along the journey, but it's also a connective card. This is like the lovers pre-lovers. Like the lovers is the master course and the Two of Chalices is the 101 course. That's kind of where we're headed here. But that's also a good thing because it means that some of the fun you're going to have is going to be with your partner. It's not going to be this struggle with the outside world. It's like, no, I got to go home and we got to have fun. We can game together. We can other things together. We can cook together. You get to have fun and relax with your partner. And that's the important part of this third week. Your fourth week has the Angels of Compassion coming in to offer support. The Angels of Compassion are here to allow you to see things through the agape love aspect. Like the I-ching said, I believe it was your second line, you're doing all the things. You're helping the uncultivated, you're crossing the great river. You're not giving up on other people just because they're not supporting you in the moment. You're saying, you know what, if you need to go, fine, but I'm not going to kick you out. And that's that compassion aspect. It's that love that goes beyond the logical reason, which Air's really good at logic and reason. Sometimes we have to have a challenge to that. And that's what's being offered to you with this compassion card is the angels are coming in to show you it's easier to do than what you think. Yes, you have your abilities, your natural air instincts, but when you add some compassion in there, it softens it so people are more inclined to be supportive of you versus, oh, it's all Air's fault. It's not Air's fault. It's really not. If anything, it's the universe if we're going to blame somebody. But the reality is everyone has a path to play. Everyone has a role. Everyone has a journey. And sometimes those journeys come into conflict because there's a lesson for both parties to be learned. And when you start to look at it from that perspective, that energy of compassion blooms even stronger. Your message from Source is facing your fears, releasing the power of fear. Everyone has fears. Whether it's snakes, clowns, spiders, whatever, heights, everyone has fears. When we learn to face our fears, the fear of failure, the fear of not being enough, the fear of unworthiness, when you face them, most of the time you realize, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal in the first place. Or, oh, that's how you deal with this? Okay, I can handle this. It releases the control. Fear is a negative response that has dominion over you. If it's fear of snakes, maybe go into a zoo and going through the reptile enclosure. You don't have to touch them, but sometimes observing them where they're not as scary as Hollywood makes them out to be. Same thing with spiders. You can really get over a lot of the fears by just learning to face them in a safe and controlled manner, which is Air's forte anyway. And if you don't believe me facing your fears, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of videos online of little regal jumping spiders. Well, not little, they're about the size of your pinky nail or your thumbnail, depending on breed. But you watch them and they're like little cats. They're not actually like scary. There's cats with 8 legs. So when you start really getting into understanding what these creatures are, it takes the fear out of them. Same thing with facing other fears. The fear of unworthiness. Who says so? The fear of failure. Every single person in your life has failed. From the biggest billionaire you know to the poorest person you know. The difference is you face your fear when you fail and you rise higher. That's the part that's being brought in here is don't stress so much on the fear part of it. Everyone has them. It's what you do with it that's important. Are you going to let the fear control you, or are you going to use it as a tool for growth? Your message from the tarot. Interesting. Number 13, the Death card. Death is coming in to say there's things that need to be removed. There's an end of a cycle or a pattern that is being called forth. The I-ching talks about as you pull up grass, you remove other things. because it's necessary to remove all of it for your garden to be healthy. Death is saying, don't forget, you're going to have to let this go. When it says pull and remove, it does not mean, but I'm going to keep this string attached in case. No, you're cutting it off. You are done with that aspect of your life. It is time for it to, quote unquote, die to you. It doesn't mean it has to die on its own. It's just no longer part of your circle. It's no longer part of your path. So this 4th week is saying, when you face your fears, you look at things with compassion, you understand there are things that have to go. The most compassionate thing sometimes is to remove a situation or a person from your life. Does not mean you have to hate them. Does not mean you have to be resentful. It's just saying, we no longer align, and the path you're on and the path I'm on are zero compatibility. I'm going to let you go do your thing. And unless we're going to intersect later on, we're good. Go with peace. And that's the easiest way to do that. Your message from for the 4th week, your guide and guardian, our guardian angels. Through the month, you're being shown paths to growth and enlightenment. Your guardian angel is coming in at the end to say, I've been with you this whole time, even through August with all the chaos that was going on there. The guardian angel is here to support you. Their goal and their entire purpose of existence is to protect you. There are times where the guardian angel has to let you, slap yourself on the concrete because it's a lesson that you needed to deal with. But the angel is not going to walk away. Yeah, you slipped and fell and you're having a moment of self-pity, but the angel's protecting you to keep you away from everything else because you needed that lesson. So don't think that just because bad things happen that your angel has abandoned you, because that's not the case. The angel is saying, I've always been here. I will always be here. There are times when you have things that you're going through that you need to deal. While you're dealing, I'm keeping the rest of it out of your way. So be in that energy of understanding. You're not being abandoned no matter what's happened. You're not alone. Even those times when you feel like you're sitting in the dark going, no one cares, that's not true. You always have your guardian angel with you, and you always have God's source hanging out. So that's a really powerful message to wrap up September with. Your message from source is sensuality, expressing your sensuality. A sensuality is not only about bedroom activities. It is living life with your senses awakened. Sense of touch, your sense of smells, taste, hearing, what you see. Everything that you have as a sense applies to sensuality. When you live in the now moment, when you really focus in this period of time, you awaken that energy, you awaken that growth, and it makes life so much more worth living. Even in the darkness, you realize there's sound. You can still see most of the time. You can still feel the breeze, the rain, whatever it is. You're not shut down. So this week of coming into awareness with your guardian angel is also awakening your sensuality, saying, just because things are getting bad, you don't have to hide in your mind. Sometimes it's easier, don't get me wrong. Oops. But there is that energy that needs to be brought forward. I was shuffling the cards for your last card, and it leapt out of my hand. And you have, fire energy, the Knave of Wands. Rekindle your passion. You've always had it, Air. You've always had this drive to go forward. You've always had this drive to keep going. But in this last week, you're feeling like, what am I doing? That's why the guardian angel's coming in to say, don't give up. I've been here the whole time. I'm helping you. Sensuality is living in the moment, learning to appreciate everything. The Knave of Wands is coming in to say, you've already went through Ace through 10 in the fire world, so you've already learned what it means to be passionate and aggressive and move forward, and you can deal with challenges, and you know when to put down a burden and when to pick it back up. Why are you not doing that now? Air, this month is about your spiritual expansion. It's about this growth potential that you're being offered here, but it's because you are finding peace. This is not about, I must war against the world. It's about, something's not balancing here, so I need to find that center again. And once you find the center, the peace settles in, because now you're like, I've got my work, I've got my play, and I can balance them again. So August was pretty much like, let's stir the pot as much as we can. September is saying, okay, let's settle things down. August was a bit much. Now it's time to settle in September and really find that balancing point again. In that balance is where your success lies. And it doesn't mean you're going to have to master it. But if you can find little glimpses of it as you go through the month, that's when you know that you're on the right path. So with that, I will let you guys and gals go. Have a great month of September, and I will see you in the next video.